This is Conversations with Paycheck and Red, a weekly podcast with two good old boys talking about anything and everything that crosses their mind. You may not know what you're going to get with an episode of Paycheck and Red, but you sure know you don't want to miss it. So do what you got to do. Download the app, find the episodes online, and make sure that you don't miss 1 second of Conversations with Paycheck and Red.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Here we are again.
All right.
Another podcast. It's Conversations with Paycheck and Red. I'm Paycheck, and that's my boy Red.
What's up, party people?
What's going on with you? What you up to?
Shit, trying to battle this West Virginia weather, buddy.
Yeah, I heard that shit's crazy out there. Y'all got some water out there, huh?
Yeah, we've got a little bit of flooding going on, a little bit of rain, a little bit of snow, a little bit of everything.
Dude, that sucks.
Yeah, man.
It's like 85 degrees, sun shining down here in the Sunshine State.
Yeah, I'm kind of jealous right now.
Yeah, you should be. You should be.
Yeah, I am.
Y'all got some snow too?
Yeah, we got a little bit of a mixture of rain and snow going on right now. It's crazy.
How many seasons y'all got over there?
Oh, dude, I've experienced all four in a week. Right here, the last week or so, we went to Kaiser for that softball tournament I was telling you about last podcast, and it was 90 degrees, sun shining. I got a little bit of sunburn. It was hot. Come back home from the softball tournament, and we're flooding, raining, snowing.
How'd the tournament go?
Pretty good. They won 2 and lost 2, so they done okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said that you saw all that sunshine out there?
I did, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, you're welcome. I sent that out there to you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It was right on time.
Right. That's that forward. I figured I'd give you a little piece of it.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
It came with a price though, didn't it? Look what you got now.
It did. We're paying dearly for it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we took that poll on Facebook. What did it say? What was their choice?
I'm kind of excited about this one, Paycheck. The winner is music. It beat out guns by like 2 or 3 votes, I think. Kind of excited about this one.
I dig it. I think it's a good topic. You know, music is so universal. You know, it touches everybody in different ways.
Yep.
That's crazy how it works though, because when I go to the gym, I listen to some heavy shit. You know, like some Marilyn Manson, some Metallica, some Megadeth.
Oh yeah.
You know, and then when I'm sitting here out in the garage, just chilling, you know, a little safety meeting, I like to have some Bob Marley playing. Oh,
you're one of those guys?
Every now and then I'll get into the I live in Florida, dude. I mean, it's beaches.
No, I'm not talking about I love Bob Marley. I'm just talking about the whole safety meeting Bob Marley thing going on. You do that?
Well, I mean, it's you know, I work hard for a living, you know, so I also enjoy some of that white lightning. I like to have me a little glass when I get home, roll it around and
yeah.
You got to wind down.
Yeah, I'm living in West Virginia. I dig some white lightning.
Yeah, you know, it's I guess it's a good thing that I wasn't introduced to that stuff when I was younger, because it's super clean, no hangover. I mean, I usually mix it with some sweet tea. Yeah. It's just, dude, it's so good that I've got to be careful, because, you know, I'm drinking it because it tastes good, and next thing you know, your dick's in the dirt.
That's the bad thing about it. It'll do it quick.
You know, there's one thing that I won't tolerate, and that's my dick being in the dirt.
Yeah, that's putting yourself in a bad way when your dick's in the dirt. That's a bad way to be. But
if you got some music playing, then you know, what's So what kind of music do you listen to, Wayne?
I've got a rule, Paycheck. Anything that makes my head bob, I'll listen to. Now, I try to stay away from the stadium country, the pop country, the bro country, if you will, the Luke
Now
Bryan.
why? What do you have against? What do you have against
It's just
that?
not. It's just to me, in my opinion, it's not country music. It's just
Yeah, but they're
not.
talking about big trucks and bonfires and shooting guns and four wheelers and hunting, fishing, and you
Yeah,
think
but
they sold out? Is that what it is? You think they
yeah,
commercial?
that's all it is. They're just singing about what you want to hear, so you'll buy their albums. What they call that, pandering, I think is what they call that. Um, they sing about big trucks and farms and beer and boots and trucks and all that shit. They sing about relatable topics, so you'll buy their music.
But nothing with some meaning in it. You know what I mean? That's one thing I've noticed about that music. Like, I don't know, just some of the songs you hear from old Merle Haggard. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That music just touches the soul. You know what I mean?
You see, that's the thing, though. The bro countries and the Luke Bryans and the Florida Georgia Lines and the Jason Aldeans and all that, they sing that shit from a, you know what I mean? They don't live that shit. I feel like, and I don't know any of those old outlaw country artists personally, but I feel like I've heard Merle Haggard's backstory. I've heard Waylon Jennings' backstory and Hank's and Johnny Cash's backstory, and those guys live that shit. So that's what they sing about. These people today, they only sing it because that's what sells albums, and I don't agree with that. So I stick more to the real relatable things, the real relatable music, stuff I grew up on. I very seldom listen to actual radio anymore. I think DJ radio is becoming a thing of the past with internet radio and all that kind of stuff, and you start a radio station on things you actually want to hear instead of things they want you to hear. You know what I mean? And I listen to what makes my head bob, minus the stadium country. I mean, I listen to anything. One day I could listen to Metallica and hard rock music that I grew up on, or the next day I could be listening to Rancid or Green Day or Hank Williams Jr. It just all depends on my mood and what I feel like listening to. I mean, I'm a pretty eclectic guy when it comes to music. I listen to just about anything.
Yeah, I'm about the same way, I guess. I guess it's I listen to music according to my mood, I guess. Like if I go work out, I like the hard stuff, but I went through a metal phase wearing the denim in the back patch. I've been through the breakdancing phase. My older brother and I actually won a few dance contests. Yeah, breakdancing. We got into the whole breaking movies, Electric Boogaloo, that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Rock the Adidas. We like to run DMCs. You know what I mean? They're little Cool J's.
Yeah.
But I think what happened for me is that I listen to country music. I listen to Southern rock and country music.
Yes, Southern rock is a staple in my music. It has to be there. That's what I grew up listening to. My dad was a real big classic rock fan.
Yeah, but you keep saying classic rock. I think when you say classic rock, I think 80s hair bands.
No, man, that's 80s hair bands. That's not classic rock.
Well, to me, like the Leonard Skinnards, and I mean that's your Southern rock, right?
I guess it all depends on what part of town you're from. I mean, I call it Southern rock, classic rock, whichever rolls off the tongue first. But to me, classic rock it covers everything. It covers the Leonard Skinnards, the Led Zeppelins, the Black Sabbath, the Journeys, the Fleetwood Macs. I mean, it covers all that. Southern rock would be Leonard Skinner. It would be bands like Kansas. It would be bands like Nazareth. bands that actually come from the South. Leonard or Led Zeppelin, I don't think was technically from the South, so that's classic rock. So, but as a genre as a whole, classic rock is that late 60s, 70s rock. 80s hair band, that's 80s music. That's Big Hair, Poison, Dokken, that kind of shit.
Makeup and shit.
Yeah, the spandex and the makeup. That's 80s hair band music. And I listen to all of it, man. It ain't nothing for me to go like to work and I'll listen to, Tyler Childers or Colder Wall 1 minute, and then I get tired of listening to that, and I put on some Cinderella. You know what I mean? And I'll go from that to some old Led Zeppelin, or hell, I'll even go as far as listening to Tribe Called Quest. I mean, I'm all over the place when it comes to music, man. Like I listen to all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I like Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah, I listen to all kinds of stuff, man. It depends on my mood, what I'm doing, that kind of thing. But I try to stick more towards the classic rock genre. I think a lot. I tend to gravitate towards that a lot more because that's what I grew up listening to. My fondest memories, my first recollection of listening to music is riding around with my dad in his old 72 Chevrolet truck, standing up in the bench seat while he was riding down the road, because you could do that back then. Ride in the back of the bed, 60 miles an hour, and nobody ever do anything about it. But I was probably 6, riding down the road, listening to, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, Blackfoot, Leonard Skinner. My mom was a big Fleetwood Mac fan, so I listened to a lot of Fleetwood Mac off the Rumors album. That was a good album. But in a nutshell, I listen to just about anything, man.
Well, for me, it was the way I was introduced to music was a little different than most. Because with my dad being in the Army, we traveled all over the place, and
Right.
I lived in Germany for most of my adolescent years. All of them, actually. I think I moved back here to the States when I was 13. But all my family's from South Georgia. My dad's from South Georgia, so there was always some country music being played. And we're talking about, back in the day, country music, the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But living in Germany, you get that. You don't get the music that you would hear. This is pre-internet. You know what I mean? It was and the any fads and any music. It took a while to get to Germany, and when it did, most of the time it was a single off an album. You know what I mean? And that single doesn't give you a good indication of who the band is. That single was just to attract the masses. You know what I mean? So most of that is going to have some of that pop, that kind of relates to everybody.
Top 40.
Yeah. So I really didn't. I mean, music for me, it grows with me. So as I get older and my lifestyle changes, the music that I listen to kind of changes because I'm looking for something that relates to what's going on in my life. You know what I mean? So
right.
Like when I listened to the rap, I was that hood hiker. You know what I mean? I was walking around in the hood, drinking 40s, smoking blunts. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was the rap music. So it's almost like music adapts to you and your lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Through all the stages I went through, all the phases and all the fads, I genuinely liked all the music. So I've liked and have listened to, all types of music, so much so to where now I'm on this, it's music from other countries, but not necessarily music. Like, I'm on some weird shit right now, man. Like, I was meditating one time, and I don't meditate. I'm not a big meditator. I'm just looking into it or whatever, seeing what it was about. But
Right.
come across the damn didgeridoo, man, and I'll sit up some nights and just watch, a shit ton of videos of people playing the didgeridoo or throat singing. Have you ever heard that damn throat singing?
Yeah, dude, that's some pretty wild shit. I get into it
Yeah.
though. I get into it. That's crazy.
Well, it's that's a perfect example on that whole music is the universal language. You know what I mean? Because if you like, I think it was on White Man Can't Jump. Wesley Snipes was talking about the feeling music or hearing music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, dude, there's times where my eyes will get watered up listening to songs. Like music touches me. You know what I'm saying? It touches my soul.
Definitely. Oh yeah.
But when I got older, I found out that my dad plays a lot of instruments. He plays the guitar, he can play the harmonica, and I always forget the name of it, but it's the one that you hold and you play with your teeth.
Jew's harp.
Jew's harp, that's what it was.
Yep.
I had an Uncle Raymond. He's got he's bluegrass. He sings and plays bluegrass, but you're talking about a talented person. This guy could play just about any instrument, could play several instruments all at the same time, had a crazy voice on him. So much, he's made some albums.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I picked up on it a little bit. I can't play any instrument great, but I can play a lot of instruments enough to where if you came over to my house, I could play a little bit of all of them and you'd leave here thinking, damn, he can play everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I was introduced to the guitar when I was about 12 years old, man. My dad taught me 3 chords when I was probably 12 years old. I think it was about 12 or 13. He taught me 3 chords. That was G, C, and D, and told me that you can play any song that's ever been out there with 3 chords almost. And I learned those 3 chords, and I played those 3 chords till my fingers bled, man. And that was all he taught me. I got the bug after that, after I learned to transition between those 3 chords. I picked it up on my own. I got the bug, and I learned how to play guitar by myself after that. And I didn't read sheet music for a long time. And I took a music appreciation class in high school just for the credit, just for the extra credit. And I learned how to read sheet music when I was 15, 16. But most of my guitar playing has been by ear. I was in and out of bands after that, after I learned how to play guitar. My first bands were like punk bands. I got into punk real hardcore when I was in high school. Went through the punk scene. The spiky hair, the colored hair, the chain wallets, the band shirts, the red bootlaces. You know what I mean? I went through all that, man. I listened to the most obscure punk rock you can ever listen to, like Screeching Weasel, Agent Orange, Sex Pistols, Subhumans, Propagandhi, and I wound up ending up on Rancid. I got stuck on Rancid for a little while, and Rancid became one of my favorite bands back in the day. And I was introduced to another band, and those guys played, you're talking about your Southern rocks. I played a little bit of like Southern rock. Then I played like harder rock. Then I wound up playing, I haven't been in a band for a while. Probably 2003 or 4, but the band I was in, we played what some people will call alternative country, and I describe it as, and if people are listening to this, they listen to it, they know what I'm talking about when I say alternative country. But for those who don't know, your outlaw country back in the day, your Merle Haggard, Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash, that kind of stuff, they would slip a hell and a damn and, every now and then a shit. But alternative country to me is country music with cuss words. I mean, you could slip a fuck or a motherfucker or son of a bitch in there, you know what I mean? And it'd be okay and it'd be relatable and all that. So
yeah, because everybody says motherfucker.
Oh, everybody does. Everybody does. But I tend to gravitate towards that kind of music now. I mean, I'm one of my favorite Americana alternative country artists right now would be a toss up between John Moreland and Tyler Childers, Coulter Wall, that kind of stuff. So I, I do get in the mood every now and then though, and I'm just feeling young at heart. I'll break out some Metallica, or I'll break out some Slayer. You know, I dig that kind of stuff too. But these days, as I'm growing up and growing older, I kind of gravitate more towards the country side of things.
You sing a little bit too, right?
I do a little bit, yeah. I pick guitar and sing a little bit still. Um, but I haven't been in a band, man, since 2000. Like I said, 2003, four, maybe even five. But we
Did your
played on
kids
the.
pick up that music bug?
Yeah, the oldest one did. She plays a ukulele and sings a little bit. I tried to teach her the guitar a few years ago, and she just didn't have the finger dexterity for it. The neck was a little too big for her, but she had some friends that she hung around with that played the ukulele, and she got interested in that, and she asked for a ukulele for Christmas one year, and I bought her a little starter ukulele, a little $30 deal from the music shop at the mall. And I don't know how to play the ukulele. I know how to play the guitar, but I don't know how to play the ukulele. The chords are completely different, but um, she picked up on that and started playing, and I told her, you know, you learn how to play this, we'll upgrade your instruments. You know, learn how to play it first. So she got on YouTube and talked to some of her friends, and she's self-taught, man, and she plays it better than anybody I've ever heard play one. She's really good at it, and she sings a little bit. Um, she's a poet, so she writes a little bit of music, but then she plays covers. I mean, that's what everybody gravitates towards is covers. Um, but she writes her own music. The other two, not so much. I mean, I tried to get the little man into playing the guitar because I still have the first guitar that I ever learned how to play on when I was 12, and
Me too.
the little boy just. I mean, he likes music. He loves music, and you know, every time we get in the truck, he wants to listen to something. But as far as instruments go, he hasn't reached that stage in his life yet, I don't think. But my whole family is music oriented, though. I mean, we all love music. We listen to music. You know, I guess everybody does. I mean, I'm no exception. But I go to concerts a little bit more than normal people. You know what I mean? Like I go to shows every chance I get. I love live music. My favorite is acoustic live music. That's my favorite way to listen to music is acoustic. I guess that's why I gravitate towards the alternative country side of things because acoustic is just I that's my bread and butter. You know what I mean? That's what I like listening to. So
We can play. We can play a few instruments, but most of my family are singers. All my
yeah.
kids sing. They're all really good at it. You know, self-taught. They've grown up around music. You know, and I made sure that it was important. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Music is definitely important, man. I
Well,
think it is because
not just the music, but making sure that they're introduced to a variety of music.
oh yeah, definitely. And I think when you say music is uh,
Universal.
it's the universal language. Yeah, yeah. I've had a brain fart there for a minute. Um, it, man, I can listen to some groups. My favorite, well, one of my favorites being American Aquarium. Um, back when that band first started, man, some of the albums that they put out, some of those songs, I feel, you know, what I mean, I know technically they're obviously not because I don't know these people, but um, I actually did spend some time with American Aquarium back in Myrtle Beach. There's an infamous story that floats around Myrtle Beach. Me and one of my really really good musical friends, Christopher Jones. Um, they used to play Myrtle Beach a lot. American Aquarium did, and they played a little small place. Little short story, real quick. They played a little small venue in Myrtle Beach, and I like um, edible safety meetings.
Yeah.
And I'm known for my brownies. So I ran across some really good safety equipment one time, and I made some brownies, and my buddy Chris talked me into bringing them to the American Aquarium show. And I had a whole pan of them. Didn't even eat not the first one. I might have nibbled on one on the way to the show, but I had a whole pan of brownies. So the guys were in the green room hanging out before the show, and my buddy Chris, he was like, "Hey man, let's go see if the guys in the band want any." I was like, "Dude, you can't get in there. You know what I mean? You're not gonna be able to get. I mean, these guys don't give a shit who we are. They're here to play music and make money. You know what I mean? They don't really care. Let's go anyway." So he knocks on the door or whatever, and one of the guys from the band opened the green room door, and Chris is. And I'm also, but Chris is a little bit closer to him than I am. He's actually friends with the one of the former bassists of American Aquarium, but he was the bassist at the time. But he opens the door and he's like, Chris, come on in or whatever. So we, went in the green room and started passing out brownies to everybody. And the whole pan got ate. Like I ate some, Chris ate some, the band ate some, passed a couple out to the people, hanging out with us or whatever. And it turned out to be a pretty good night. I got compliments from the band and a lot of people after the show that they were some of the best edible safety meeting brownies that they've ever ate. So I kind of take pride in that I had a little safety meeting with American Aquarium one time, but that anyway, getting back to what I was saying, sorry, I didn't mean to run off on a tangent, but I thought I'd share that little short story with you. But anyway, I felt like American Aquarium used to write songs for me because I related to just about every song they wrote. Like they were singing it to me, standing around with me, going through my life, singing these songs to me because every word of just about every song that they sing, I can relate to. And even their new stuff, I mean, even to this day, I can hear American Aquarium song and it'll take me to a place where I can relate, So music, I wish that I could pick my favorite band and then walk around with me because I feel like my life deserves a soundtrack, and I feel like everybody's life should deserve a soundtrack, but more so mine because I'm just that into music, And if I had to pick a soundtrack for my life, American Aquarium would sing it for sure. No doubt.
I'm hoping one of my kids Chloe picked up the guitar, but kind of the same deal you were talking about. She was young, she couldn't really get her fingers all the way around on the neck.
Right.
But yeah, they love music.
Yeah, I'm pretty into it, man. Like, I'm not into the point where I get sick of listening to music, you know what I mean? Because I listen to it every day, all day. I don't think I could ever get tired of listening to music. It's a big, big, big part of my life. I mean, I've got a genre of music for every mood that I have, I think, or a favorite band that I have for every mood. Because when I was young, man, it didn't matter. On Saturdays when Mom was cleaning the house and Dad was outside cutting grass, there was music blaring from the 8-track player or from the local classic rock radio station, and it just became a part of me. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what I would do if I had to live my life without music, man. It would be so dull and boring for real.
That's the good thing about all this technology is that you have all the music at your fingertips. That's you mentioned, I don't know if it was during this podcast, but at some point about rarely even listening to the radio because, with all technology, but that's what I like to do. If YouTube's good, I like YouTube. If I'm looking for a specific song, like if I want to take it back, you know what I mean? I don't have to wait for it to come up in rotation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I can remember when the internet started getting real big and the Napster came out when you could download music and all that. I never was a big Napster user, but they came out with LimeWire.
Yeah,
And I used to
that's
think
how
that
I
was,
got my first virus.
man, that was that used to be the greatest thing ever. But the only bad, and it was so great back then, but now it sucked because it was so funny. I think I heard a comedian talk about this the other day, talking about LimeWire, how it was the greatest thing ever. And I'll use his story as an example. I guess I can't remember the comedian, but he said that LimeWire was, the greatest thing ever back in the day whenever the internet was popular, and you could, find your favorite song and, click download or whatever, and you go to school that morning or whatever, and come back, and your song would be like
Yeah.
15% done or whatever. You know what I mean? But once you made that first mixed CD of all your favorite songs, everybody wanted to borrow it. You know what I mean? So then it became a thing. If you had LimeWire, you were making CDs for people, like mixtapes and shit. So kids don't know the struggle, man. Like today, you can press a button and hear any song you want to. You know, I can remember 8 tracks. I'm sure you can too. 8 tracks, you had to wait for that song to come around again before you heard it. And it was only a select like 3, 4, 5 songs or whatever on an 8 track. So kids today don't know the struggle, man. They don't
No,
know
we
the
used to have to go.
struggle.
We used to have to go to the record store and sing the damn song to them and hope that they know what the hell I'm talking about.
Yep. Nothing I used to love better than going to the mall when I was young, to the music shop, man, and getting the new CD of whoever came out with a new CD or whatever, and standing in line to get the new CD or of whatever band was popular at the time. And now you hardly ever see a music store. I think there might be one of those, what they call them, FYEs, in the mall here, but you walk by and there's nobody in it. I don't know of one, and you still got the old school. And I still buy a CD every now and then if it's a band that, from my childhood or from my high school days that really meant a lot to me. I'll still go buy a CD, but I'm real heavy into the internet radio, man. And
Yeah, I'm not buying any CDs. But
I,
one good thing about music for me, when I think about fond memories, relating to music is just being in your room, when you're a teenager, 13 to like 16, you got your headphones on, you're laying on your bed, you know what I mean? Your eyes are closed, and you're like, you feel the music, you're into it, you know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
I still
Yeah,
enjoy that.
yeah, but you don't buy CDs. Are you too good to buy music? I mean, if you love an artist, you want to support that artist, right?
Yeah, I'll throw 20, $30 when they have a GoFundMe, or if they play live somewhere. It's just not logical to buy a CD anymore.
It isn't. I mean, that's what I was getting at. It's still cool to me to be able to go out and buy a CD just like you did back in the day. Um, you don't necessarily have to stand in line for them a lot anymore because everybody's on the internet listening to music. But I mean, if I like an artist, like, I can't believe I haven't even mentioned them yet. Pearl Jam was a huge influence in my life when I was growing up, man. Um,
Yeah.
and I used to stand in line. I had all the Pearl Jam CDs, man. I even had a couple of them on vinyl that came out. Um, but even to this day, if I see, like, if I go, and it's crazy because I've been in the thrift stores before and found Pearl Jam CDs. You
Oh
know,
yeah, of course.
and I'll buy them just because, like, because that it'll get abused and neglected or thrown away, and that's a huge part of my life. You know what I mean? So I'll buy it up. I might not listen to it a lot. You know what I mean? But I have it, and I know it's in good hands. That's just how much that means to me. So if I go out and purposely leave my house and my main goal is to buy a CD, I mean, that's a huge thing to me because I'm still supporting that artist. Now, I'm not going to say that I don't listen to internet music, internet radio, I use Apple iTunes a lot. I listen to a lot of music, and I pay for that service, so I kind of feel like I'm still paying for the music in a weird sort of way, but I still will every now and then go out and purchase a CD, or if I see a cool CD that I haven't heard in a long time at a thrift store, I'll still buy it, man. And then I still support the artist by going and listening to them live, to a show or something. But I still find the nostalgia part of buying a CD really, really cool, because you can still do that, because one day you won't be able to. Everything will be all internet radio and downloadable on the internet and all that. So
that's kind of the life I'm living now.
yeah, I mean, that's why I take that buying the CD things. I'm not gonna say I take it seriously, but I kind of take it to heart when I go buy a CD, because you can still do that. A lot of these artists that I go see live, a lot of these Americana, alternative country, artists that I go see live at shows, they put out their albums in vinyl still sometimes.
I get it. I feel the same way about photo albums.
Yeah.
Now it's digital, it's all on your computer.
Yep.
But there's just something about holding that piece of history, you know what I mean? Because you think if you're looking at your grandparents' photo album, and if you were allowed to pull back that clear sheet, you know what I mean, and actually touch the photo, whatever, that was intriguing to me. So I imagine, an album, a CD, a cassette tape, an 8-track, you'd get the same feeling.
Yeah. What's the first band that you purchased, a tape or a CD or whatever? Do you remember the first tape or CD you ever bought on your own?
Yeah. It was I bought 2 of them. They were albums. It was they were records. It was Houdini, and it was an LL Cool J
on vinyl.
Yep.
Wow, LL Cool J on vinyl. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, and we didn't, because we grew up in Europe, my parents had the old, man, that son of a bitch was so damn long. It wasn't tall, it was a record player, but it was one of those record
console radio.
Yeah, but it was like, and my parents still have a lot of this stuff, but when you get wood furniture from Germany, dude, it's like heavy, real deal, it's all big and bulky and shit. But we specifically bought the vinyl because it just sounded better back then. To me, thinking back, vinyl just sounded a lot. You could hear more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
No?
Oh yeah, dude, I love listening to vinyl. I still got all my dad's old vinyl. I haven't listened to it in a really long time. I've got my record player put away, but I still have it all. And my dad had some really obscure vinyl, man. My favorite vinyl album to listen to that my dad had, though, was Dr. Hook. That was yeah, dude, that was my favorite album to listen to. He had that on vinyl, and he had the Cheech and Chong Greatest Hits on vinyl, man. I remember listening to those when I was young, and when I break them out, now when I get to a point in my life where I can break my record player back out, that'll be like the top 2 albums that I break out first. Was that Dr. Hook album, because I remember the song, man. My favorite song, and it's a really popular song, and it still is today, is "Cover of the Rolling Stone."
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and it's one of the it's Dr. Hook was, if you were, I mean, I didn't grow up in that time period. I came in like the last part of the 70s, but I'm from what I see on YouTube and hear people talk about, stuff like that, Dr. Hook was a popular band back then. But their greatest accomplishment, in my opinion, and some of the old schoolers, some of the old school guys will probably, argue with me, but "Cover the Rolling Stone" was probably one of the best songs that Dr. Hook done, And there's just something about vinyl, man. I could listen to anybody on vinyl and it'd be awesome. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be anybody popular or anybody that I like. I could listen to anybody on vinyl and it'd be good. Just something about that vinyl sound, man. I don't know.
I remember listening to a Red Skelton album.
Mm-hmm.
You know who Red Skelton is?
Yeah, he's a comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're about 40 minutes in. I've got to get up super early.
Oh,
So,
it's that time, huh?
man, it's killing me. But keep the comments and the suggestions coming on our social media,
Yep.
and stay tuned. We're gonna stay at it.
Oh, I got some other news, Paycheck. It's not
Yeah, what's
huge,
up?
but we've branched out on the social media. We've got an Instagram account now.
Do tell.
Paycheck and Red _podcast on Instagram. Look us up. Um, we'll keep you updated on the episodes and the random happenings of Paycheck and Red. Still working on the Twitter and all that kind of stuff, but we did branch out to the Instagram. So look us up. Paycheck and Red
Please,
_podcast.
please do some reviews, share it. We're trying to get this out there a little bit.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
appreciate it.
If you're listening to us on your iPhone, go to Apple Podcast and give us a 5-star review. That helps too. That helps us stay relevant.
All right. There it is. Yep. Until next time.
Sir. Yes, sir.
All right, brother.
All right, buddy.
All right. Later.
Later.